To tell you the true myth of the Furies, known in Greek as the Erinyes, we have to go back to the very absolute beginning of Greek mythology. They are some of the oldest, most primal deities in the ancient world, born long before Zeus and the familiar gods of Mount Olympus, when the Titan Cronus overthrew his father, Uranus, the sky. Drops of divine blood spilled onto Gaia, the earth. From that blood, deep within the dark womb of the earth, the Furies crawled into existence. They were not elegant goddesses. They were the terrifying personifications of natural law, justice, and conscience. There were 3 of them: Alecto, the unceasing anger; Megaera, the jealous rage; and Tisiphone, the avenger of murder. Their true purpose was to enforce a moral boundary. If a person committed a terrible crime against their own family, like a child striking a mother or a brother killing a brother, the Furies would rise from the underworld to hunt them down. The hounds of conscience before there were courts, before laws were written on stone tablets, and before the gods built their marble palaces on Mount Olympus, there was the blood oath, and deep beneath the black earth, sleeping in the dark valleys of the underworld, sat the Furies. They were a terrifying sight to look upon. They had the bodies of women, but their wings were as dark as a bat's. Their eyes wept tears of burning blood, and instead of hair, wild hissed snakes coiled around their brows. In their hands they carried brass-studded whips and torches that burned with an unquenchable, ghostly green flame. They did not hunt ordinary criminals. They did not care about stolen gold or broken promises. The Furies slept until a specific, terrible sound echoed through the earth, the sound of a family's blood crying out from the soil. If a son turned his hand against his mother, or a father betrayed his own flesh and blood, the Furies would instantly awake. Their snake hair would hiss, their wings would unfurl, and they would unleash their hunting hounds. They were the ultimate personification of the guilty conscience. No wall could keep them out. No army could protect a criminal from them. They would follow a guilty man across mountains, across oceans, and into the crowded streets of great cities. They did not kill their targets with weapons. Instead, they would beat their dark wings around the guilty man's head, whispering his crimes into his ears over and over again, never letting him sleep, never letting him find peace. They would drive him mad with the heavy, suffocating weight of his own remorse, until his mind crumbled into shadows. For thousands of years, this was the absolute law of the world: an eye for an eye, a blood debt for a blood debt, an endless cycle of revenge that threatened to consume humanity. But the true magic of the Furies lies in how their story ends. A young prince named Orestes was caught in a terrible trap of fate. His mother had murdered his father, the king. According to ancient honor, Orestes had to avenge his father. But the moment he struck his mother down, the Furies erupted from the earth, screaming for his mind. Orestes fled across Greece, driven nearly mad by the snakes and the green torches of the sisters. Desperate, he collapsed at the temple of Athena, the goddess of wisdom, begging for mercy. Athena looked down at the tormented prince, and then she looked at the 3 fierce Furies standing at the temple gates, demanding their ancient right to punish him. Athena realized that if the cycle of blood revenge never stopped, the world would destroy itself. So Athena did something extraordinary. She did not fight the Furies with a spear or a shield. Instead, she invited the citizens of Athens to form a council. Together, they held the very first courtroom trial in human history. They listened to the evidence, they debated the motives, and they voted. When the votes came out in a tie, Athena cast her own deciding vote to set the tormented prince free. The Furies erupted in fury. They shook their brass whips, promising to poison the crops and bring plague to the city of Athens for stripping them of their ancient power. But Athena stepped forward with immense gentleness. She spoke to the sisters with profound respect, acknowledging their ancient age and their vital role in keeping the universe moral. "Do not weep with rage," Athena whispered. "You are not being cast into the shadows. We still need your power, but the world has grown. Instead of hunting men in the dark to drive them mad, come live beneath our city as our honored protectors. Help us ensure our judges are fair. Help us make sure our citizens speak the truth. Be the quiet voice inside our hearts that reminds us to choose justice over anger." The three sisters looked at Athena and then at the quiet, orderly city. The ancient burning rage in their chests began to cool. The snakes in their hair stopped hissing and lay still. They accepted the goddess's offer. They shed their terrifying blood-stained garments and put on robes of royal purple. From that day forward, the Greeks no longer called them the Furies. They gave them a new beautiful name, the Eumenides, which means the gracious ones. This story shows the evolution of power. Women in mythology are often the ones who hold the deep, emotional truths of the world, the things the ego tries to hide from. The Furies represent the raw, destructive fire of unmitigated guilt and anger. But when they are met with the wisdom of Athena, that fire transforms into the protective warmth of justice, conscience, and peace.